Yeah, okay, all right. So, hi everyone, good morning and welcome for today's session. So, as we are going to discuss this given subsegment, let us reflect upon what all can be created. So, yesterday we were discussing about the essay technology from the perspective of various dimensions, the time breakup, right? So, I gave you these given pointers. I said that when we are reflecting upon the dimensions of essay, we all can think of first and foremost choosing the topic. Under this subsegment, we need 3 minutes of investment of our time. Second, we can talk about is idea generation. Under the component of idea generation, we can think around 15 minutes. If you remember, idea generation was divided into two subparts. It was brainstorming and brain mapping, right? Then we can reflect upon the third subsegment, that is conceptualizing the introduction. Conceptualizing the introduction. After this, we can think of conceptualizing the conclusion. After this, we can reflect upon, we can consider, that is organizing the content. Over here, as we are reflecting upon this, conceptualizing the introduction can take 3 to 5 minutes. Conceptualizing the conclusion can also take 3 to 5 minutes. Organizing the content shall take on an average we can consider something like 7 to 10 minutes. Then comes writing the final draft. This can take up to 50 minutes. Then we can reflect upon polishing the essay. After that, I said 2 minutes to calm down, relax and detach. All right, 2 minutes to calm down, relax and detach. So this is something that we all can reflect upon. This is something that we all can connect with and something that needs to be worked upon. So yesterday when I was talking about dimensions of an essay and when I discussed this given possibility of 90 minutes being distributed into a given subcomponent, we all can reflect upon this possibility that how the 90 minutes can be divided in a justified manner. Now I need to substantiate all these given subsegments because then only it shall make sense. Like why am I giving such a distribution and how is it logical? So first let me share with all of you the last few bits, that is point number 7 and point number 8, because if that is logically explained I won't have to bring it on again. This will be something that you will be seeing and you will be able to connect with. It is advisable any time I write on the board okay, or you feel that I'm explaining something important, it is like suggested that you can note it down, because that is something that shall stay with you. So when we are reflecting upon this given thing, that is polishing the essay 2 minutes. So what is done in polishing? We all can reflect. So with respect to polishing the essay, if I would be substantiating, that is associated with providing some, I would say, qualitative core content in terms of highlighting it so that the examiner is able to take notice of it. So like, let us consider, when you are reading the content, you are able to like reflect upon what is written over here. And like let's say, for a while, let me like suggest this. Suppose you have like completed the essay, right? So after completing the essay, I'm saying that for 2 minutes, just pick a pen or something like that and start running through your content. Don't try to read everything, but every page, just see that is like, you just throw a glance. If there is a spelling mistake or a grammatical error, sometimes it surfaces up. Like, for example, I know my pattern. If I'm writing speedily, I have a tendency, I have had, I yet need to like, discover it in recent times, but I have had this tendency earlier, that when I'm writing speedily and I am writing your, Y-O-U-R. So in the process of writing speedily, I don't know why I sometimes just skip the R. I just write you. Okay. So similarly, we all can have our own quirkiness in writing, our own slipshots in writing, which we must have noticed in the past. Because any person who is a thorough writer, a diligent writer, a meticulous writer, is generally aware of such patterns, the kind of mistakes, that the potential that we hold related to like committing mistakes. So let us consider that if any of you is able to notice this given pattern of mistake, that like, you went through the content and you were unable to like you are able to find certain spelling mistakes, grammatical errors, work towards it. Second thing, in the polishing, what you'll do is, any core concept which you are discussing and you want the examiner to pay attention to it, in that situation also you can go ahead with this given possibility. That is, you can just like, just underline those aspects. So I think almost 16 to 18 pages of content which you are reading, reflecting, underlining, I think like it can take 2 minutes, right? Because if you are spending few seconds also on a page, just skimming through it and identifying which core content should not be missed by the examiner, and you're just underlining it, or maybe you're just in the process of skimming, you're finding some preposition going haywire, some grammatical expression going haywire, and correcting it a bit. So I think like it would take around 2 minutes. So 2 minutes for polishing the essay. This is what is like advised. Then we all can see that the segment that is written towards the end is 2 minutes to calm down, relax, and detach. So from like, I would like to ask this from all of you. You all can type. Has it ever happened that you have attempted two essays? You have moved to the second one, and as you are attempting the second one, the content of the first one is reminded. Like, as you are working on the second one, the first essay is like something that you are subconsciously or mentally, you are revisiting it. You are able to recall the content. You are like, oh, I could have written this, I could have written that. You go back to it. You like put like I would say an arrow or something like that, and you start adding the words. Does that happen? Has that happened to you, people? Yes. Has that happened ever, that you are working on this given subsegment, people? I think that you must have come across such practice, right? Think about it. If this has happened to you, whereby you have like, exercised anything as such, I think many of you must have come across any such possibility, or you must have come across such given subsegment, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So in this given exercise, when you are like, let us say, moving to the second or the third content, like especially in terms of essay, when you are moving to the second essay and you are recalling the content of the first one, I said third because this can happen also in GS. You are like working on a GS answer and you are reminded of the next answer. So those possibilities can be there. And you are recalling the previous one, you are trying to adjust the previous one. All those possibilities can be there. Okay. So, okay, Pintu and Nimai, all of you have experienced that. Biswajit is saying that if I'm a slow writer, then how many minutes should be allocated for writing the essay? We'll talk about it, Nimai. This is a tentative breakup which does need a justification, that does need a clarification. It does need a logical corollary that, like, how logical is it to suggest this time? So, what I'm going to advise next associated with this given area, what exactly happens to people as they keep moving ahead and as they, like, try to solve the given subsegments. Like once in a while you will come across this given possibility that when individuals are, like, let us say, solving a specific essay and then heading to the second one and then thinking about the first one, it actually impacts the qualitative pursuit of that essay in terms of what kind of marks could have been achieved and what is actually unfolding. Like, for example, maybe I'll share this and all of you can connect with it. Like, let's say, if you are reading the essay of a standard 5 kid or a standard 8th kid, right? For that child, that exam is very important. Okay. Like, Biswajit, can we go slow? Can we go slow? We have to discuss brainstorming in the entire lecture. It's not something which will be explained within 2 minutes. So go slow, go easy. I have to explain every single bit of it, takes one full lecture. So we are just getting introduced. This is the smallest one. That's why I'm doing it, discussing it and completing it. Trust the process, be there. All right. Now, so anything which is written on the board, okay, should not be a part of your question. This is for everyone right now. Anything beyond this board that you have as a question can be raised. All right. Because everything that is on this board needs a discussion. Choosing a topic, why 3 minutes, has to be explained. Idea generation, how it is done, why it is done, why 15 minutes, all that has to be explained, dictated, drawn. All right. Similarly, conceptualizing introduction takes a full lecture almost. What really takes less time is types of conclusion. It barely takes 10 minutes. But rest everything is going to take exhaustive segment. Even writing the final draft, why 50 minutes? And is it logical to say 50 minutes? What if someone needs more time? Okay, what if the essay is not completed? All those questions are there. I'll be addressing that. All right. I've not written essay before during answer writing question. This type of things happen. No problem, Roy. The time till you appear for the mains exam, you would have practiced enough essays. In the absence of practice of enough essays, a student can never clear the exam. Truth is this. So before you write the mains exam, the actual mains, you will be capable of writing the essays. So don't worry. It's like it's an inevitable phenomena. Like without writing practice, no one clears the mains. So whether it is answer writing or essay writing, so that is something that will happen. It's like unavoidable. Now, so as I was suggesting, that suppose there are standard 12th kids, okay, or no, 12th is too much for you right now, going by your age. So like, let's say there are standard 5 kids, standard 8 kids, and for them their exam is very important. It's like one full year of hard work at stake, right? So when, like, you are evaluating the essay of such a child, you, like at your age, with your level of experience, is it possible, I'm asking, that you read the first page or first 2 pages of 6 pages essay, and by reading first or first 2 pages, you get a tentative idea of the level of the student, reading the language, the content, the nature of engagement, the way the student is able to articulate, whether the essay will be of 60% or 70%, what can we expect? What can we expect from the level of writing? So is it like something which is a great level? Is it a like smaller level? Is it a better level? So can you gauge? That's my question. Can you gauge the tentative we can consider possibility, the tentative word limit associated with this. Yeah, the tentative dimension, that after reading it, can you just gauge that this is the kind of marks the student deserves to get, or this is the level of preparedness that the student possesses. So can you, like, after reading, can you sense that you are able to understand it? Yes, that's my question, people. Can you sense that what is the level of the student just by reading the first 1 or 2 pages, that this is the level of the student, maybe 50%, 60%, 70%, awesome essay, awesome possibility, I want to read more, or okay type essay, let's see what is written further, or it's like promising, let's find out what is there. So does that curiosity, that level of breakthrough, that level of understanding, that level of connectivity get established by the, we can say, first few paragraphs? Are you able to connect with this given possibility, all of you? Have you ever like, if I give you, if you are exposed to such a situation, if you are provided with like, let us say, those sheets, can it be expected that you would be able to connect with it? Yes, people, can I consider that? Yeah, please let me know. Can I consider that you will be able to sense the given possibility? Yeah, people, if you are provided to evaluate two answers, two essays, whatever, just by reading the first few paragraphs, can you connect? Can you sense the given possibility? People, I hope that majority of the people can. So, yet to receive your answers, yet to find out what is going on inside you. All right, fine. So, going by the given like responses that all of you are sharing, now you need to understand how we see your essay. So, for, like, let us say, an examiner, a UPSC evaluator, you are like a standard 5 kid for them. And by reading the first 2 pages, they can sense what level you possess. So that's why it is very, very important for, like, each one of you to understand this given possibility, that you are able to, like, create the given dimension of creating a breakthrough. All right. And when we are considering that you are able to create a breakthrough, I don't know, just a second, hold on. Why is this not working? It is set at such a level, it's just not working. Temperature. I just hope. Okay. Yeah, good to go. So as we are discussing about this, like, let us consider you, like the way you consider a little kid, in the similar manner the examiner can also take you as a young child, can take you as a kid. So in that given situation, you can find the given possibility that a child is, like, I would say the child is struggling with a possibility whereby the child is reflecting upon what ought to be written and what needs to be created. So in this given dimension, what I actually want to empower you with is that there can be a lot of situations, there can be a lot of, we can say, possibilities whereby the examiner can gauge beforehand that what kind of potential candidate you are. And that's why the first 2 pages of the essay makes a world of difference. You cannot go casual about the first 2 pages. And that's the reason why I am suggesting that when you are writing an essay, become more particular, become more, I would say, alert while dealing with the first 2 pages. And generally what happens when we complete first essay and we head to the second one, what is observed is that a student has a tendency, a very strong tendency to, like, head towards the second essay and recall the first one. And as the child is recalling the first one, makes arrows, gets back to it, somewhere the focus, somewhere the engagement, somewhere the sense of attachment that should be there with the second essay goes missing. And while reading the second essay, the examiner cannot gauge what reason is responsible that you are looking like you are somewhere lost. You are looking like you're writing, but somewhere the connectivity, the flow is missing. The examiner cannot sense that why it is happening. But the examiner can sense that it is happening. The examiner doesn't know the reason. You know the reason that the revisit is happening. But the examiner can sense that somewhere the flow is breaking. And why did the flow break? Because you were recalling the content of the previous essay. And that was also inevitable for you. You were recalling the content of the previous essay for obvious reasons, right? Now, how to contain this given possibility, how to create a balance with this given possibility, let us reflect upon that, right? So, when we are let's say we are thinking about this, we all can sense a lot of, I would say, dynamics related to this. So we all can, let's say, when we are reflecting upon this, we all can see that while a student is progressing ahead, what a child needs to do to bring in the ultimate focus, to bring in the ultimate, we can say, concern, being in the moment with the essay, being present, being alert with the second essay, it is important to detach from the first essay. And what I'm saying is not only important for essay, it is also for life, it is also for relationships. Until and unless you're not through with the first one, you cannot actually engage wholeheartedly with the second one. And that is something which can create a lot of chaos in life. It can create unwarranted confusion, it can create lack of performance, and that can lead to further other levels of dissatisfaction and disappointment, right? Anyway, so as I am suggesting this, let us reflect upon what kind of critical breakthroughs can be created, right? So in that, probably you all can connect with this. So in that, what is supposed to be done is, as you are dealing with the first essay and you are, solving the very first one, after, you are through with solving the first one, it is advisable that just try to probably thank, exercise gratitude. Gratitude is a very virtuous condition. So exercise gratitude towards, I would say, all the possibilities which let that exam happen for you. There are so many people and so many situations and so many possibilities which let the exam happen for us. Like, for example, I can quote this and probably you can connect with this given possibility. This did happen in to one of my seniors. So when he was writing the UPSC exam, and when we are speaking of it, this is way back, okay, so almost 15-17 years back. So this fellow had written the mains, and this fellow had written the interview, appeared for the interview previously. So, out of 3 attempts, one was exhausted just like that, second one was till mains, third one was till interview, and this was the last attempt. And what happened was that this fellow, he went for the exam, he did the compulsory paper, next he completed the essay paper, and then comes the next possibility, the possibility associated with the component of essay. And after essay, the GS. So what happened was that everyone, is too fatigued 15 days before the mains exam. So he was very thorough with the preparation of mains, studied, prepared notes, this, that, sleepless nights, you're just half asleep, you are, even in your sleep, you are kind of alert, 4 or 5 hours of deep sleep. Sometimes you get up in 5 hours, sometimes in 7 hours. So it's very, very rigorous when we are talking about sleeping. Anyway, so what happened was that the student, in the student time period, this fellow who is right now a DU assistant professor. So what happened was that this guy, in the process of maturing, he came across this given situation that he had to appear for this mains exam, the GS mains, and a night before, after studying everything, at 1:30 or so, he lied down. And early in the morning, his alarm clock did not work. It did not work, it conged off, and because the phone had to be charged, he did not notice that and he slept. And the phone conged off, the phone did not ring. By the time he slept, it was 2, 2:30, whatever was the truth. 1:30 wrapped up whatever course studying he was doing, sitting on the table chair, revising, lying down, and then sleeping off, whatever the time was. So when phone switched off, so alarm did not work. Three of his friends who were flatmates staying on in the other room. So like other room means there were other rooms on the floor. So what happened was that they were not appearing for the mains that year. So they used to study overnight, sleep at 4, 5 in the morning, and then get up like the next we can consider 11 or 10, whatever their schedule was. But the truth is that they slept early in the morning, so they also were not aware or alert to wake him up. Then the cook who used to come to like fix the meal, he came under this possibility that he also did not turn up because someone died in his family. He tried to inform while making a call, but this fellow, his phone was not working, so the call did not work. And anyway, the other boys, they used to put their phone on silent and sleep, so no one could reach out. So what finally happened was that this fellow, uh, because he was underslept for quite a number of days, and after doing the compulsory paper, essay paper, the brain starts getting into the momentum and kind of not very stressed. It's kind of relatively relaxed. So what happened was that this fellow, he got up, and by the time he got up, it was quarter to 9, and almost 40-45 minutes distant he was from the examination hall. So like after getting up, even if you take the admit card, even if you avoid brushing or taking a bath, you're running, going to the street to catch hold of an auto or something like that, whatever it is. So all that will also take 5-10 minutes. So by the time he reached the examination hall, it was 9:30. Entry was not allowed. If you don't appear for one GS paper, the battle is already lost. It's not that he did not appear for other exams, but the battle was already lost, because if one paper goes zero, then the entire game is lost. As simple as that. Why did I share this? Because as I said, no one, like none of us, is self made. There are hundreds of other people who are constantly building us, hundreds of possibilities which are constantly nourishing us to let things happen the way they happen to us. That's why exercising gratitude is important. After you've written the entire essay, like recalling the content, like jostling with the content, streamlining the content, putting everything in order, after you have done all of it, what is really important is, once you finish the content, is to exercise gratitude. So thank the energy, thank all the people, thank all the situations which have been in favor of you, that all the hard work you have done for years together is articulating itself, it is getting realized on ground, whereby you are able to write it, you are able to write the exam, you are able to complete the paper. That itself is a very big thing. Being able to compete with the coveted few, like the 15,000 or 12,000, whatever result is out of lakhs of students who aspired to write this exam. So once you write the essay, just thank nature or the possibility or God, whatever you trust in, okay, or believe in, that thanks for all the possibilities that worked in my favor, that today I was able to write this exam. It makes a lot of difference to what happened to me. And I'm really deeply indebted to the experience that I had right now. So thank you. Thanks a lot for everything that happened. And once you have a deep sense of thanks, after that, take 3 deep breaths, because feeling this wholesome sense of gratitude towards the possibility that you could write an essay, and all the years of wisdom and like insight you had, you poured it on the paper, having a sense of completion, having a sense of gratitude, having a like sense of wholesomeness is essential. So feeling that or sensing that and saying that thank you, I was able to give my best, and whatever like I held is here in the paper, being able to say that also needs a lot of clarity of conscience. So saying that, feeling that, and then when you complete, okay, and after completing the entire segment, whatever it is, once you complete it, after doing that, what you are supposed to do is that get into the possibility of taking deep breaths to make your brain free from all thought, the thought related to the previous essay. Decluttering it is important. And how do you declutter your brain? So you declutter your brain by getting into the possibility of taking 3 deep breaths. So inhaling, holding the breath, exhaling, again inhaling, and with closed eyes, just 3 deep breaths. And you'll realize the pace at which your heart was thumping, the pace at which your brain was running while writing the essay, it has cooled off. You're again like a fresh slate, ready to work on the next topic. Okay. So you have to prepare yourself for the next topic as well, because a lot has been written. A lot has been written on your, we can say, present thought process, which needs to be wiped out before you start with a fresh topic or before you start with a new topic. Got it? And that's why you need to declutter your brain. And that's why 2 minutes to calm down, relax, and detach. When you detach with the previous topic and then head to the second one, it is then that with a fresh brain, when you are recalling all the content associated with the second topic, that you are able to completely engage with the second topic, recall all the content related to the second topic. You are able to streamline all of it related to the second topic. That's why this 2 minutes exercise is important. This is like wiping out, and after wiping it off, all of it, then going ahead with the given dimension. So polishing the essay, I have explained what is it. 2 minutes to calm down, relax, and detach, I have explained what is it. Right. Now moving ahead with reference to, let us consider these given dimensions. So organizing the content, and before organizing, sorry, writing the final draft, 50 minutes. So let me explain you how this so called 50 minutes, okay, is something that will articulate itself. Why 50 minutes, why it is valid, and how we can speak about it. We should maintain standard about full essay, or is it essential for first 2 pages and last 2 pages? We should maintain standard about full essay. What does this question imply, Biswajit? I cannot sense it. If you imply to say that you need to maintain standard about full essay, means you want to ask that the quality in essay should be maintained in the entire essay, or should the content be qualitative in first 2 pages and last 2 pages? If that's the question, then I feel that why will you want less marks? If you can maintain good quality throughout the essay from the first page to last page, that is what should be advisable, that you should write good quality from the very first to the last. Why do you want to reduce the standard? Right? Okay, shall we move ahead? Yes? Okay. So when we are speaking of this given subsegment related to the so-called 50 minutes, let us understand how we engage with the given possibility of the 50 minutes. Okay. So in this, we all can see the breakup. So let us consider, if we are talking about 50 minutes to write the essay, 50 minutes to write the essay. This is what I have given. Is 50 minutes sufficient enough or not? For that, let us forget for some time period that we have to write an essay. Let us recall GS. So, let's say, going by the logic, 4 GS papers. In 4 GS papers, we all can see there are 150 words questions, that are 10, and there are 250 words questions. So this is like 10 marker, 15 marker in simple language, right? So 250 words essay, that are 10 once again, right? So with respect to this, we all can see that on an average, a student has to write like around 4,000 words. Now let us consider a student who has to write 4,000 words, the 20 questions that the student is exposed to. It's not that you straight away jump to the question. First you read the question. After reading the question, you try to understand. Sometimes you can see a lot of twisted language is there related to interpretation of the question, right? So you should be like reading the question, trying to understand what is it all about, and after that you should engage with the question accordingly. So with respect to this given sub-segment, we all can reflect upon a lot of possibilities or realities whereby we all can like some question, then we'll Madan, we will be doing that. That's the thing. But if you don't understand the theory, you cannot understand the given possibility of what would be unfolding. So were you present yesterday, Madan? That's something which I'll be asking. Were you present? Because we discussed about the theory and a lot of questions, and I showed you the question of patriarchy. If you were absent yesterday, connecting with today's session will be tough. And this applies to every student. If you miss even one session, the capability to connect with the next one will get flimsy. Okay. So, because this question raises a doubt with respect to your presence. Okay. So, first and foremost, try to understand the theoretical aspect. If you don't know the theory, even if you know the content and you cannot deliver on the paper, what is the use? Okay. So because सबसे पहला सवाल तो यही उठता है ना कि लिख पाओगे, ठीक है? सो लिख पाओगे कहीं तो गेम चल रहा है, ठीक है? पहले इसको समझ लो, फिर कंटेंट पे आते हैं. एंड देयर इज लाइक yesterday I don't know if you were present, so again I'm raising this question. Did you even see the philosophical essays? The level of the philosophical essays, the nature of questions that I had shown you related to the 2021 question paper, 2020 question paper. Did you even see that, Madan? Right? So that's something which is important. Anyway, so with respect to this 4,000 words, when we are speaking of this given subsegment, now think about it. Every like 10 question if you have, so every question needs some kind of reading. You can see long meandering questions also. 10 marker, 15 marker, doesn't matter. But sometimes like the question, the language of the question is in 2 lines. If you have seen the question paper, GS question paper, so 2 lines, 3 lines. Case studies, they can be as stretched as 1 full page, but anyway, case study is an exception. Majority of the GS paper 1, 2, 3, even 4 section A questions, they are almost of 2 lines. 1 line is minimum, but 2 lines is on an average. Standard protocol 2 lines. Few questions can be even of 3 lines, like polity or governance or social justice questions, sometimes geography questions, sometimes history questions. We can see they can be as long as 3 lines. Now, with respect to this, if we are speaking of this given subsegment, we all can see that if you are taking at least 20 seconds to read the question, okay, 15 to 20 seconds, right? So like let's say 15 to 20 seconds to read the question, and let us consider when you're recalling the content of the essay. So essay, I'm saying GS answer. So when you're recalling the content of the GS answer, that what all points I'll be writing in introduction what, and then in the conclusion what, and in between what I'll be writing. So that will at least take another 30 seconds. Yeah, 30-40 seconds recalling the content, arranging it. Yeah, okay. So like let us say 30 to 40 seconds in that also. So with respect to this given possibility, at least 1 minute is going just in reading and recalling the content. Madan, I specifically spoke your concern. It took precious 2 minutes of the class. So can you just at least be courteous enough to respond whether you were present yesterday or not, right? Because that will help me to address your concerns better. All right, you were present, fine. So no, I am present means you are present today, right now. I'm asking, were you present yesterday? So I was present is the language what I'm asking for. Okay, you are present, I can see that. Okay, but were you present yesterday? That's my question, because that will bring in a lot of context related to what we would be discussing now. So 1 minute is what you are taking in terms of, like, let's say processing an answer. Okay, so 1 minute each. 1 minute each. You are taking to read the question, process the question, understand and interpret the question powerfully, and then accordingly build upon the content, right? So let us consider with respect to this segment, you are taking 20 minutes because there are 20 questions. So you are taking 20 minutes to just read and recall the content. I hope that's justified. All of you can see that possibility. 10 to 15 seconds or maybe 20 seconds to read, process, recall, then structure, all of it, right? It's 20 minutes. Now let us work on the given possibility, right? So with respect to this, when we are talking about it, let's say with respect to all these given subsegments, if I am saying that let us reduce, there are 3 hours in GS paper. So we can consider that 60 into 3, so 180 minutes. Out of 180 minutes, let me reduce 20 minutes. So you are left with 160 minutes. With respect to 160 minutes, now let us divide this 160 minutes with 4,000 words. This is essay technology. So I'm working on the most microscopic unit, that is, what is your writing speed? So if you see over here, what is the writing speed that we are talking about? It is 20 words per minute. And then I will ask this given possibility, have you noticed your writing speed? In GS, if you are writing 20 words per minute, then only you can complete a GS paper. Let us consider, no one is going to write this 4,000 words in totality. There's a fair chance that students will be writing little lesser than 4,000. Why? There will be at least 3-4 questions the child doesn't know properly, only knows it in parts, bits and parts. So rather than 150 words, the child ends up writing something like, let's say, 100 words or 70 words. Maybe in 250 word answer, the child just knows 100 words content or 150 words content, not 250 words. It is possible for at least 3 to 4 questions out of 20 questions that you get, right? So going by this given possibility, we all can consider this dynamics to unfold for all of you, that rather than 4,000 words, you are writing like 3,700 to 3,800 words. That's also possible. So rather than 20 words per minute, there is a possibility that you can avail something like, let's say, 22 to 24 words per minute. Is like when we are speaking of this given dimension. Why did I write 20? It is 25. Just a second. Because you will be making it 4, you will be making it 100. When we are cancelling 4 with 100, it's 25. So with 25 words per minute, we can consider it will get reduced. If you're writing lesser words, it will get reduced. So it can be something around this given possibility of 22 words to 24 words per minute. Same applies to your optional paper as well. If I'm speaking of the optional component, in optional, majority of the papers have, like you can see, question number 1, question number 5, they are compulsory. They are 10 markers. They are 150 words if we can consider. So like we can see there are 5 questions in this and 5 questions in this. So let us consider this. 5 questions, okay, 150. And then you have like 3 more questions to attempt, to 2, 3, like let us say 7. And you are having 3 subparts. Here word limit is not mentioned, marks is mentioned. So 2020 10 marker, 2020 10 marker and 2020 10 marker. So with respect to this, we all can consider that there is a possibility of, like let's say, like using double the time. So in total, in optional, a student is writing 3,750 words, and 3,750 words need to be written again in 180 minutes, out of which again, like let's say 20 minutes is gone in recalling the content, in processing the content, what has to be written. So that way a child is left with something around 160 minutes. 160 minutes when divided with 3,750, you can realize that it is somewhat similar to this one, and the precision is 22 to 24 words per minute. So this is your reality related to 6 papers. Okay, optional, you have 2 papers. One subject, 2 papers. So 6 papers, your writing speed is this. 22 to 24 words per minute, right? So with this kind of writing speed, now my question arises here. With this kind of writing speed, what is it that you can create with respect to essay? It's not like, see, in essay, those students, and that was a very genuine or legit concern of Nimai when he said that, ma'am, what if I need more time? So for that, I am responding to this, and that is something which gets addressed when we are talking about writing the final draft 50 minutes. Why is it logical? Why are we talking about the given possibility that 50 minutes is what you can devote maximum? Okay, so the logic is this given segment related to GS. When you are taking, let us consider, when you are taking the very possibility of creating the content of GS for papers, whereby you are engaging with so many questions, and on an average, the writing speed that you need to possess is around 22 words to 24 words per minute. With that kind of speed only you can finish or you can complete 4 GS papers. You can complete 4 GS papers. In the similar manner, when you are talking about optional paper, something like similar kind of possibility needs to be created. 22 to 24 words per minute to complete 2 optional papers. So when we are speaking of this given possibility, what is the speed that you need to complete a 1000 to 1200 word essay? Now here, so we have 1000 to, like, let us consider 1200 words for an essay. And if we have a habit of writing with 22 to 24 words per minute speed, if this is the speed that we have built over the time period, okay, then how much time do you need to complete? Like now I'll give you an average of 1100 words. 1100 words, because 1000 to 1200 is what UPSC is giving you as a marker. So like let us consider 1100 words. Divide 1100 with 22 to 24 words per minute. If you make it 24, you'll need something like 47 minutes. If you are taking 22 words per minute speed, you will be needing, for 1100 words, you will be needing something like 50 minutes. Okay, so like you can see the mathematics, basic mathematics, 1100 divided by 22 words per minute. How much time you need? 50 minutes. This is what? 50 minutes. And that's why you need to understand that if you're writing your GS papers, that you're like reading it and you're like, these are the points and this is how I'll be explaining, and you're writing next question, this is the, I interpret it like this, these are the segments I'll be writing, mentally you're recalling, you're structuring it, and then you start writing, and you're doing this question after question after question. 4 GS papers, 2 optional papers. Why do you want to write an essay like, I'll write la 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 la, I'll think, and then la 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 la, and again I'll think. And what are you doing in thinking? In thinking, you're recalling the content and structuring it. Now my question is, recalling the content and structuring it, if you need time to think, then probably for that purpose only we have 7 to 10 minutes exclusively dedicated for organizing the content, 15 minutes exclusively dedicated for brainstorming and brain mapping. So you don't need to actually hold your cheek and you don't need to think that, oh God, after this what to write, after this what to do. No, you don't need all that. You are capable. You are capable to do all this in an organized fashion earlier. While writing the essay, while writing the final draft, you just need to write. And with the same competent speed, with the same competent possibility with which you have done your 4 GS papers and 2 optional papers. Is it making sense now, Madan? Yes? And is everyone else understanding? People, are you understanding the validity of it? Why I have given you 50 minutes to write the final draft? Because I told you that it is essay technology, so every aspect needs a logical explanation. So I believe so far I have explained you this, this and this. Okay. So writing the final draft, if you are writing slow, Suppose you are like, no, no, I'll take 60 minutes. Suppose, okay, 60 minutes or 70 minutes. No problem. You do that. What will be the repercussion? You will be able to complete an essay paper, because in essay, you just have to write 2200 words. Two essays, 2200 words. But GS, 4000 words. Optional, again, 3750 words. So you will end up losing questions in 4 GS papers, 2 optional papers. You mess up with 6 papers, 1 essay paper cannot be the savior. 1 essay paper, even if completed, is not going to help in the selection. So the actual game is bigger. And when the actual game is bigger, okay, you start understanding, you start correlating that if my writing speed is poor, I might complete the essay, but not the GS papers. Because writing speed is writing speed. If it is bad, it's going to impact other areas as well. So the writing speed that I'm proposing, okay, is directly in consonance with the speed needed for optional or for 4 GS papers. I know majority of you have never ever thought like this at this micro unit level, that what is it actually as my writing speed, what is my per minute writing speed. Many of you have heard it from teachers that bigger questions, 250 word questions should be written in 11 minutes. A shorter question should be written in 7 minutes. Like 150 word answer should be written in 7 minutes. How many of you have actually practiced that? How many of you have actually done that? How many of you have actually tried to complete a full GS paper of 3 hours? You will realize either you are losing the questions, you are not able to compete and attempt all of them, or if you are like, let's say, running super speedy, your memory is getting taxed, because whatever is very, very thorough as a part of your memory, only that is flashing before your eyes the moment you read the question and you have to start writing. So whatever you have read earlier, only that is getting processed, recalled and structured in the content, right? Fine. So is everyone understanding this bit when we are discussing about it? Yeah, this is the logic. If you mess up with the timing, you mess up with the entire preparation. Okay, so 50 on an average, on a high side, maybe 54 minutes, because you have the fluidity of some time over here, 3 to 5 minutes intro, 3 to 5 minutes conclusion, 7 to 10 minutes in organizing. Okay, so when we speak of it, that flexibility is there. So maybe if not exact 50, maybe 52, 54 minutes. But yeah, within that stipulated time period, not more than that. Now, the logic starts with this one. Will you be able to work out on these aspects? And this is something which needs now detailed explanation. All right. So with respect to this, choosing the topic. Now, I have given 3 minutes. If I ask how much time do you take when you see a topic, that which one do you want to write an essay, like 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute. Why? You see the 4 topics, you are like, oh, I know this, I know this, I don't know this, I don't know this. Out of these 2, this one looks fine, this also looks fine. You recall something, you're like, yeah, this one I can attempt, this is looking better. Okay, I'll write this one. Finish. That's how you choose. So it barely takes 30 seconds to 1 minute. And here I'm proposing 3 minutes. So the question is, what needs to be done in 3 minutes? What is the validity? What is the logic that I'm proposing? Okay, related to the 3 minutes. Bit by bit, you will be seeing that every single area will be explained, validated. Because 50 minutes on one side, I've already proved why 50 minutes to write. And 50 minutes is something which is a logical concern. Now, the next concern should be, if 50 minutes is there for writing, what am I doing with the rest 40 minutes? Is it validated? So far, I've just explained 4 minutes. 2 minutes here, 2 minutes here, 4 minutes. How about 40 minutes or 36 minutes? What to be done? So out of that 36, again, I'm taking 3. Every single aspect has a logical explanation. Without understanding that logical explanation, the content cannot be built. Okay, so we'll be reflecting upon that. So first and foremost, when we are talking about choosing the topic, what needs to be done? Okay, so before this, I will be showing you certain previous year question papers so that you see and develop a sense of, I would say, an understanding of the pattern, that how the pattern is changing. Sometimes what happens is that when we are writing in the flow, new ideas strike in our mind. And in such cases, we have to make a little bit of changes in our time management and plan. Yeah, that happens, Nayan, because you don't know brainstorming and brain mapping. You will exhaust all corners of your brain when you actually understand what is brainstorming and brain mapping. So when you exhaust all options of thinking, there is hardly any, there will be hardly any possibility of recalling a fresh point and writing. So you can hold this query for the next subsegment, that is brainstorming and brain mapping. In fact, brain mapping, when I draw the diagram and explain it, it almost takes half an hour. So it's like a qualitative area. This query, which is a very genuine one, you will get it sorted by that time. In such a case, what to do that not much time is consumed. So brainstorming and mapping is the segment, and this kind of deviance that occurs, this kind of, uh, we can say distraction that occurs, can be put under check because of that. All right, Nayan. And now, as we are further moving ahead with respect to this given sub-concern, we all can now reflect upon, first and foremost, choosing the topic. So before that, I'll show you the nature of questions that have been asked in the exam. I'll show you the changing trend. So let us start first and foremost with 2017, not 18. So in 2000 and let us consider, uh, this board is pretty worked up since morning. That's why it took 5 minutes to start the session also. It's hung. Now I don't know what to do. See, oh snap, gone, gone. No one worries. Wait. So this one is gone, right? This one is gone. Okay, whatever. So with respect to this, I'm opening a fresh slide, right? So with respect to this, when we are speaking of the previous year questions, let me introduce you to the previous year questions and give you an idea how bit by bit UPSC climbed up the ladder. Just see this. Section A 2017, quite GS in nature. So farming has lost the ability to be a source of subsistence for majority of farmers in India. So it is related to economy. It is also associated with Indian society, farmers as a part of the society. So that's what. Impact of new economic measures on fiscal ties between union and states in India. Here also you can see there is a combination of economy with polity, right? Again we can see, yeah, that's what I mean, the student who's asking that won't we panic realizing we have invested 40 minutes in thinking and analyzing. It is thinking and analyzing that you are sitting holding your cheek, and once in a while writing the essay and the flow getting distorted, every once in a while you need to use ladders and fuse content in between. So how about this given possibility that you give me the intellectual liberty, because yesterday when you realize that, when I drew the diagram to understand the topic in letter and spirit, and suddenly you realized you don't understand a topic in letter and spirit, and when you read the topic, it's then that you realize that, like the topic of patriarchy that we solved, and then you realize that, oh my, I don't actually read the topic properly, right? That was a sneak peek, a glimpse to the possibility that you really don't know how to write an essay. You really don't know the breakup of the timing. You really don't know how to process the content. You really don't know how to organize and consolidate a content which is of 16 to 18 pages. Because none of the GS questions has this kind of approach. None of the optional questions has this kind of approach. This is new to your intellectual ecosystem. So you'll have to trust the teacher. One. Second, you will have to give me time to explain and speak. Okay, so all this nervousness, I can promise you that it will be doused, okay, to a great extent by tomorrow. Okay, so the moment I complete brainstorming and brain mapping, you will be kind of relaxed and standing on your firm foot. Yet introduction, conclusion, organization of essay, by the time all this is done, that will be like, I would say, Tuesday, Wednesday, you will have a firm footage. Thursday, Friday, I'll be working on idea generation. I'll be talking on the component of, like, let's say, a lot of questions, debatable essays, other than debatable essays, sources to be used for essay. I'll be discussing about philosophical essays, one full lecture devoted for philosophical essays. So this is my game plan. All right. So we will be doing everything systematically, bit by bit. So you just need to enjoy the process. And it's good you are curious, because when you're curious, you're alert. When you're curious, you connect with what is the aspiration, right? So in this given area, as we are substantiating, uh of the laptop. While brainstorming the body, do we need to take a stand about the topic? Like, yeah, all that is something, Subhashri, which is like, which needs detailed explanation, because you've not seen debatable topics. Next week, Wednesday or Thursday will be allocated for debatable topics. Every single day is allocated for a specific area. So while brainstorming, how to think about a topic actually lies in the way you process a topic, the way you interpret a topic. UPSC does give topics where you can exercise your sense of judgment. So there you will be understanding whether to process a topic systematically in an organized fashion, whereby can you give the alternate idea of the topic, can you criticize the topic, can you question the topic. That's something which will be taught in debatable essays, and I'll be showing you a lot of topics from previous year which will be giving you an idea that UPSC does give a lot of debatable topics once in a while. Almost every year for past few years, every year one topic is debatable in nature, and you need to learn how to debate it, whereby it's balanced, your sense of judgment is visible, you come across as a profound leader, as a balanced leader, you're able to generate a lot of clarity and confidence. So yeah, that's what. So patience, again, patience is the key. Okay, now, but I can assure anyone who's diligent, anyone who's regular in the session, and anyone who completes the 7 sessions will be a different person for sure, because this is one area which is 250 marks and not ever learnt by you systematically ever in your life. Essay is not just introduction, body, and conclusion. Essay is not just thinking and chewing the pen and writing something down, right? Essay is not something as like simplistic or chaotic either ways, okay, as you have perceived it so far. Anyway, so here you can see this given topic, destiny of a nation is shaped in its classrooms based on education. Has the non-aligned movement lost its relevance in a multipolar world? Okay, after this, you all can see this section B. Joy is the simplest form of gratitude. Then fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. Then we may brave human laws but cannot resist natural laws. Then social media is inherently a selfish medium, right? So you all can see that the questions in this one is a quotation based question, but rest are quite simplistic. This is women, this is associated with human laws versus natural laws, and social media, this question is associated with, we all can see, like associated with GS. It can be connected to social issues as well as other sub segments. After 17, if you see the 2018 question paper, you can see alternative technologies for climate change resilient India. Okay, so alternate technology, so technology and climate change, environment. A good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge. Quote based philosophical essay. With, because anything which looks abstract is falling in that category. Now, poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. It is there in your Indian society social justice syllabus. Poverty. Management of Indian border disputes, a complex task, international relations. And 2018 is the year when they introduced one full section related to philosophical topics. What is the logic of introducing this section? To evaluate the personality of a student. Why? Because in 2017, there was a student who was selected as an IPS officer, caught red-handed cheating in the prelims. He was already selected as an IPS officer and caught red-handed cheating in the prelims exam, whereby he had a Bluetooth device in his ear and his wife was prompting from the other side, giving him the answers to the questions. All right. So definitely his selection will not get cancelled, but definitely he was barred from appearing in the exam in the next 5 years. He was just left with 5 years to appear age wise, and that means he was barred to ever take an attempt in UPSC exam. Definitely his selection cannot be cancelled, because while getting selected he had resorted to some such unethical means was not proved. It's like people, they get selected and become corrupt officers, for so they are fined or they are made to pay some kind of price for going unethical later, because that act is caught later. You're not made to pay like a price with, or any kind of fine with respect to what you have done earlier, if there is no proof. So whether he was selected through unethical means, that was not to be proved. So definitely he cannot be punished for that. But what was the repercussion? 2017 ethics paper became super tough. The nature of questions was different, and in 2017 means a lot of people got very pathetic marks in ethics, that is 105, 102, 97, 96, like that. Even toppers, I'm talking about them. Regular students 70s, 60s marks in that. Few students even less than that. But majority of the students were struggling even to get 105 or 110. Yes, the same ethics paper which helps you to get something around 140 also if you're good. And why did it happen? Because this fellow had very good marks in ethics. So people questioned that despite having such amazing marks in ethics, how come this fellow is so unethical? Because people don't become unethical overnight. So is ethics paper capable enough to analyze the personality? That's how UPSC created more roadblocks. And that's how UPSC created philosophical essays as a full-fledged section. Because when you have to write a philosophical essay, you delve deep. You reflect deep, you start thinking what more possibilities can be created, what dimensions can be created, because of which we can consider whatever we have learned so far, experienced so far, is put to action. So it is basically your wholesome understanding and reality put to context if you reflect upon it. So this is what UPSC did. UPSC created one full section of philosophical essays, because in philosophical essays you cannot write just GS content. You just cannot write whatever you have studied in all these GS papers. It has to be brought in context with respect to the topic that is asked. And then the question arises that can you really understand a topic thoroughly? If you cannot understand a topic thoroughly, how can you really substantiate the content? And that too, if you are understanding the topic thoroughly, can you connect it with the larger realm of existence? That's also something that is put to test when we speak of it. Okay. If an unknown and new word is there in the question, how to understand the question? Then the only option that's left is, can you let us consider read Hindi and understand good quality Hindi. If you can understand good quality Hindi, then there is an option of getting the translation. Otherwise, you have to work on your vocabulary. When you struggle with your vocabulary, capability to reflect and connect and create the content does get affected. Our thinking and analysis should be appropriate with respect to the topic. Yes, as we are studying, we are able to know more facts, information, etc. How to develop the thinking and analysis habit? When I'll give you the tool of brain mapping, you will realize how it is put to use. When I'll help you how brain mapping can be connected to GS, you will be understanding how it is helpful. That makes you fairly curious for tomorrow's session, isn't it? Okay, anyway, let's see this. Philosophical essay starts from 2018. To make the exam more complex, to make the exam more thought-provoking, to make the exam worthy of analyzing your true personality. Because you will not be only writing facts and figures and what's happening in the world. You will be showcasing who you are truly, how you're connecting with the topic. What is the idea of ideal, values, how those words mean to you. What things are happening in the society which you can connect with those words, because only that person can connect to an in-depth level who's really motivated by the term, by the segment from within. Because factual connections is quite superfluous. It can be done only to a certain extent. But we can say qualitative connections is possible only when a child is able to like generate a wholesome interest and connect with the larger possibility. So here, customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. You can see this. Then the past is a permanent dimension of human consciousness and values. Again, a people that values its privileges above its principles loses both. Reality does not conform to the ideal but confirms it. This is the first year of introducing one full section of philosophical essay. They continued with this pattern when they realized that students are not able to survive it. So you can see again in 2019, one full section is devoted for philosophical essay. So this is there. Wisdom finds truth. Values are not what humanity is, but what humanity ought to be. Best for an individual is not necessarily best for a society. Courage to accept and dedication to improve are two keys to success. 2000 and after like 19, we can like see this section B. This is now GS in nature. So this is IR, South Asian societies are woven not around the state. So are woven, not around the state means not present. We have to take the past also in consonance. So cultural history of South Asia also needs to be understood. But around their plural cultures and plural identities. Okay, so you need to have a cultural understanding of the history of South Asia and then build the content accordingly. Neglect of primary healthcare and education in India are reasons for its backwardness, right? So education and health. So education continually you can see every year. Other than that, women was also there. Biased media is a real threat to Indian democracy. Rise of artificial intelligence, the threat of jobless future or better job opportunities through reskilling and upskilling. A topic which is more relevant in 2023 or 2024 when you would be writing your mains, right? So such topics which are futuristic, such topics which are thought-provoking, such topics which are somewhere associated with the larger concern. Notice this one, 2020. Life is a long journey between human being and being humane. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to a tranquil self. Ships do not sink because of water around them. Ships sink because of water that gets into them. Then simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, right? After this, further when we reflect, culture is what we are, civilization is what we have. There can be no social justice without economic prosperity, but economic prosperity without social justice is meaningless. Patriarchy is the least noticed yet the most significant structure of social inequality. Technology is the silent factor in international relations. All of you can see this, right? And what do you sense by seeing this? That even the like GS topics are now more engaging, more in depth. There are more layers to the language than it was in 2017. So by 2019, this kind of ripeness, 2020, this kind of ripeness is what we can see. Philosophical essays are becoming more like we can say layered and complex, and even GS questions are no more like very direct in nature. They are also having some interdisciplinary understanding and multiple layers in it. But again, they changed the trend in 2021. 2021, 2022, all 8 questions, both the sections philosophical in nature. Yes, exactly. That's what. See this. The purpose of self-discovery has now been technologically outsourced. Your perception of me is a reflection of you. My reaction to you is an awareness of me. Philosophy of wantlessness is utopian, while materialism is a chimera. Then the real is rational and the rational is real. Section B, if we see that, hands that rocks the cradle rules the world, right? So the GS component is no more GS like that. That's also quote based. What is research but a blind date with knowledge? History repeats itself first as a tragedy, second as a farce. There are better practices to best practices, right? So all these given possibilities, which all of you can see, is associated with the topics of essay. Just building that sense of ease, that sense of familiarity for all of you. Right, 2022, if you want to see that, probably I can just open and show it to you. So just a second, 2022 essay mains, UPSC. Yeah. And in this, probably I can show you the image. and in the image we can take any of them. um, so any of them and any of them. Yeah, this, you can see this. So in this, as the question paper, you can reflect upon it. Slightly less. Yeah. Forests are the best case studies for economic excellence. Forests are the best case studies for economic excellence. Is it about forests? Is it about ecology and environment? Is it about like the component of geography? Well, if you actually delve deep, you'll get to understand why I raised this question. Then, poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. History is a series of victories won by the scientific man over the romantic man. A ship is in harbor is safe, but that is not what ship is for. What do you realize? The topics are not repeating. And probably, Madan, now raising your question, even if I analyze some 500 odd topics and make you practice some 500 odd topics, UPSC can come up with the 700th one. Okay. Even if you are practicing something like any like nth number of topic. So what really needs to be developed is strategy, because UPSC is not repeating the topics per se. There is always a fresh language and a fresh concern. It seems to be so. So first, understanding the strategy is important, and then, like, decoding the given possibilities is essential. See this further. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. You cannot step twice in the same river. A smile is the chosen vehicle for all ambiguities. Just because you have a choice, it does not mean that any of them has to be right. Right? So examiner wants to, we can consider, the examiner wants you to think quite exhaustively. The examiner wants you to think in an in-depth manner. The examiner wants to actually analyze and see whether you are a thinking individual or not. Right? Now, Anil, that's what the purpose is, to show the questions to you. Because if every student picks up a question, please discuss this, please discuss that, please discuss this one. So that will deviate from the central purpose, that is how to move systematically. Right? So this topic will be discussed for sure when I'll be taking up philosophical essays. Even before that also, there is a dimension which I won't disclose right now, okay, where this topic of this process of self discovery topic will be taken up. Okay, so but I will be taking that up primarily when I'm taking the segment of philosophical essays. Okay, so you'll get to understand it then, because there are so many questions every student can come up with. Please explain this one elaborately and that one elaborately. The thing is, every single one will be discussed elaborately once the approach is fixed, because like until unless you don't understand the approach, topics and content is something which is pretty dynamic in nature. Anyway, so first and foremost, after showing you the questions, I will move systematically. That is, I will first and foremost take up the component of choosing the topic. How should you choose the topic? What is the method that should be taken up while choosing the topic? What are the do's and don'ts that should be practiced to choose the topic? Because choosing the topic is going to take almost 3 minutes, right? So what ought to be done with respect to it? That's something that we will be discussing. So for that, let us take up the dimension and keep noting down all the instructions that I share with you. So here, where is it? Here, I've allocated 3 minutes for this purpose, choosing the topic. What needs to be done in those 3 minutes? Let us reflect upon that. First, do not start with choosing start with eliminating. Brain mapping sheet shall further help in the process. Then second piece of instruction is, if there is a conflict between two topics, then choose the one closest to your heart. With a better level of understanding and connectivity, so with a better level of understanding and connectivity, um, there is high level of creativity. Fourth point which I can give you is, be alert of the potential biases that may creep in. Fifth, memorize the topic. Memorize the topic, including the punctuation marks. Then, initially, it may seem to be a mechanical process, but with several repetitions. Okay, but with several repetitions, okay, but with several repetitions, you connect with the topic, but with several repetitions, you connect with the topic in letter and spirit. Okay, this is what you need to do in the 3 minutes. This is the logical explanation of the 3 minutes. So what do you need to do when we are speaking of it, when we are reflecting upon it? So first and foremost, I have given do not start with choosing the topic. Okay, start with eliminating the topics. How? So when you are seeing the topics, what you're supposed to do is try to ask yourself, how far do I understand the topics? And the moment you are seeing that these are the topics that are there before me, and like try to recall the segments that you know about the topic and the segments you don't know, you're not aware of. So when you see that, oh, I know the political segment but I cannot recall the environmental segment much, I can just recall 4 challenges, I cannot recall enough challenges, or suppose what are the suggestions, maybe I can give 2 examples from schemes or policies but I don't know enough suggestions. When you start reflecting and thinking like that, it is then that you realize the limitations. It's then that you realize that probably I know certain segments, but there are a lot of segments which I am not posted off, which I really don't know. That can be a possibility. Okay. So when we are discussing about this given dimension, that do not start with choosing the topic, start with eliminating the topic. What I imply to say is recall the segments you don't know rather than what you know. What you know, what exactly happens when you start thinking what I know. So you recall what I know about one topic and the second topic also starts hitting upon you. Okay, and you're choosing that also, that okay, yes, these points I know about this one, these points I know about this one, then this one, then this one. You keep recalling the content. Suppose you think that this one is what I know more and you start writing this one. The one which you left, you start recalling more points of that. That starts popping up in your brain like a popcorn. Different ideas. Oh, that GS teacher gave a lot of idea about this one. Remember this report which we just read a week back, that is also relevant to this topic which has been left. Oh, this given component which we read elsewhere, like some case study, something that also can be connected. So when your brain starts functioning like that, when you start connecting a lot of segments which you have studied previously elsewhere, and you start recalling the topic you have left, it harasses you. The second one which you have chosen and you're writing, now you become unsure of this one. God knows whether I've chosen the correct one or not. Because the topic which you have left, you are recalling the content. Why? Because you started with the process of selecting, not eliminating. When you start with eliminating, initially you actually do the selection segment. That's unavoidable. Seeing the 4 topics and thinking which one I feel close to, which one I understand, which one is the topic which is looking easy. I can recall the content. So initially it starts with selection. But when you segmentalize, when you segregate, when you are left with 2 options or 3 options, then rather than selecting, the process should be eliminating. And in eliminating, what do? You recall the segments you don't know rather than what you know about the topic. So that if the topic harasses you later, that oh, if you have written me, it would have been better, there were extra points, you can recall it from GS also. If that was happening, you can always say that no, there were these concrete areas which I didn't know and I cannot risk it. Though I can recall a point or two, a report or two, a GS information or two, it's good, it's great, but that's not sufficient for me to attempt this one. So when you're already clear why you don't need something, even if there are some bubbles of aspiration emerging from that topic, it does not deviate your focus from the topic that you have attempted or the topic you have decided that you will be dealing with. I hope you are understanding this. Yes. Okay. So when we are talking about start with eliminating, okay, don't start with choosing. When you start with choosing, you subconsciously exercise a choice. And that's why when you settle with one choice, the choice you left, that one starts harassing. So don't start quote unquote with choosing. Start with eliminating. Okay. Suppose in the process of elimination, there is a conflict between 2 topics. Like you don't know 4 points of this one, you don't know 4 points of this one, or 5 points of this one, 4 points of this one. Hairline difference. Okay. 60-40 or something like 55-45, like that kind of difference. That in both I don't know something. Now what to do? In that situation, choose that topic which is close to your heart. Choose that topic in which you not only have academic understanding, you have understanding with respect to life. You have understanding coming from your childhood experiences. You have understanding with respect to your neighborhood, your social context, the area where you have lived. So you can connect with the larger concerns of that given topic. Choose that specific topic. That is the one which actually deserves the breakthrough that is supposed to be caused. So that's what. Choose the topic when there is a conflict between two topics. Okay. Choose the one which is closest to your heart. Why? Because when you choose the topic which is closest to your heart, there is the scope of creativity. There is the scope of writing something extra, because see, if there's a topic on education, everyone will be quoting the data related to the pre-primary and primary education, secondary education, higher education, new national education policy, connecting it with fundamental rights. You won't be the only one doing that. Everyone will be doing that. So that's a commonality of expression and insight which every student will be creating. Where is the hairline difference? Where is the difference in the content between one student to the other? That is in the creativity. And creativity comes when you really connect thoroughly with a topic, when you really connect with a topic beyond what generally is known to everyone. What is generally known to everyone, yes, that's also written, that's essential, that's, I would say, the core part of the topic. But other than that, there are a lot of insights related to the topic which is associated with the core part, but exclusive to your reflection, your experience, your extra reading, the extra books, or maybe extra insights that you have read from other places, maybe stories, maybe anecdotes, maybe some report, maybe some exclusive news article in some exclusive magazine, sometime maybe some childhood textbook, which is not common for all. And that is something which lays down the foundation of creativity. So high level of creativity comes when you have a deep sense of understanding, a better level of understanding. So if there is a conflict between two topics, go for this one. Okay, then be alert of the potential biases. What do I imply by that? There are times when we choose a topic which is associated from our comfort level, our area of comfort. What actually happens is that in our area of comfort zone, there are reasons why it's a comfort zone. Like, let us say, I'll give you the example of Ira Singhal. So Ira Singhal, she became All India topper in 2014. Okay. Now this girl, she had appeared in 2014, she had 167 marks. But the same girl, okay, because in 2014 new syllabus, this present syllabus that you have, so 250 marks essay, but prior to that she had appeared in 2010 and she had become a revenue services officer. And in 2010, in the old syllabus, essay used to be of 200 marks, not 250, and in that she had got 90 marks. Out of 200 marks, she had got 90 marks. You understand, 200 mein 90, 45% marks. The same girl who got 90 out of 200, the same girl had 167 out of 250. You can see the quantum leap she got. All India topper for essay as well as overall topper. So this girl, when she got this specific marks, that is 90 out of 200, what was the reason? This was the problem. Biases. So the topic she chose in 2010 was geography may remain the same, history needs not. That's the old syllabus. She had two optional papers, public administration and geography. So the moment she saw this topic, geography may remain the same, history need not, she jumped on her feet. She's like, yes, wow, I am going to create a breakthrough with this given topic. I really understand it. It's like geography, my favorite optional. I'm going to write so much how geography may remain the same. And then what happened when she stepped out of the exam? She was very happy. Other 2 days, very happy, hunky dory. It was only after 2-3 days that it dawned upon her that she has written an imbalanced essay. Geography may remain the same, history need not. I have written 8 pages on geography may remain the same, and in history need not 4 pages. With this lopsided approach, what will happen? Marks can be deducted, and that's what happened. Overall, she got 90 out of 200. So potential biases can be realized the moment we choose the topic. When we choose the topic, we know why we choose it, why we like it, where is the area of comfort, what we know. So at the same time, we should also ask ourselves in this topic, what can be the potential biases that can surface up? What kind of challenges I have to avoid not to write? Like, let us say, suppose a boy is very tired of seeing his mother watch TV series, okay, TV serials. So always she is watching sitcoms or TV serials, too much of melodrama, this and that, dish, 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 da, da, da. So suppose the child is traumatized, and suppose there is a topic associated with patriarchy or associated with, like, let's say, the new woman in India. Okay, so realization of new woman in India is a myth, something like that, which was asked in fact in 2017 or 18, most probably 17. Anyway, so the moment the child is seeing this topic and the child is like, yeah, yeah, I'll write. But at the same time, I'll write what are the challenges, what are the problems, why women are not becoming new women. So that the child is thinking what wrong society is doing, what opportunities society is not offering, what problems are happening. And then he'll also think that, and I'll also talk what is the problem, temperamental issue of women. And in temperamental issue, I'll write that sometimes women themselves are not very focused or motivated. They waste their time watching TV serial. So the moment this kind of possibility can emerge, okay, this kind of bias can emerge, the moment you are like potentially active, that I don't have to think anything associated with victim shaming, victim blaming, that women are not empowered enough because they themselves don't want to get empowered. No, there can be men also who are getting opportunity, they don't want to get empowered. So victim shaming is not the game here. Here the possibility is that despite the possibility that you may have the potential, why you are unable to create a massive breakthrough. So I have to avoid any such possibility. Okay, so potential biases, you can identify them as you are seeing the topic, as you are getting connected to the topic. Okay, in the process of connection, that's yet another important step that every student needs to follow. That is, you have to memorize the topic. Like, memorize this topic means just become super thorough with the topic. Memorize it so many number of times that you start understanding a topic in letter and spirit. What do I imply by that? So memorizing the topic, including the punctuation marks, it may initially seem to be mechanical. It may initially seem to be quite dry a process. That what am I doing? I'm constantly like repeating the topic on the loop. What am I gaining out of it? You may feel that given possibility. But when you start repeating the topic with several repetitions, you start connecting with the topic in letter and spirit. Now I will prove it with an example. See, and now you will be able to connect with this given subdimension. So with respect to this, if we, like, let me take a philosophical topic because that's something which can scare you. So how about taking that up? This one, this 2020 topic, when we are seeing this. So let everyone play with this given topic. All of you have to participate. Okay. Here is the topic. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. Okay. Memorize the topic thoroughly, multiple times. Okay, suppose you have to like choose this one. So memorize it multiple times. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. Keep doing that. Initially, this process will look quite mechanical. Kya kar rahe hain yaar? Why am I doing this? What am I gaining out of it? How is it helpful? Whatever. So mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. When you do it multiple times, what will happen? The meaning of the topic will start bit by bit blooming inside you. Memorize every single word. Mindful. What is mindfulness? Mindful. So like mindful means like alert. Mindful means conscious. Mindful means aware, right? Aware. Mindful means being present, right? Mindful means being there. Mindful. Manifesto. Where did I read this word last? Political parties have a manifesto. What is manifesto? A planned agenda, a planner, like a structure, how we are going to perform a specific act. Okay. So a planner. We can consider an agenda. We can consider like, an organized way to go about things. So organized way to go about things, that's manifesto. Is the catalyst. Is, not was, not can be. It is deterministic, it is clear, it's more like a universal truth. What is catalyst? When did I read the word catalyst last? Chemistry class, standard 8th. So catalyst was a facilitator that was speeding up the chemical reaction. Okay, so I'll be writing up this facilitator, okay, that sped up the reaction, sped up the reaction to a tranquil self. What is tranquil? Now here is the problem which Nimai was correctly identifying, that ma'am, what if I don't know the vocabulary? If I don't know the vocabulary, can it hinder? Yes, here this kind of possibility. So here, suppose if you are seeing the, if you are capable to read Hindi, then you will see that the component will be associated with the word peaceful, calm, okay, शांत चित्त अस्तित्व के लिए, ठीक है. So something like that. If you are able to read Hindi, then you can sense it. Otherwise, if you're only focusing on English, then and you cannot read the Hindi font, and this can happen to students who are Bengali medium, who have read only Bangla, and like they can hear Hindi, they can listen to Hindi, they can understand, but they can't read. Okay, or there can be Tamil students from Tamil Nadu, from Northeast, from Kashmir, from Punjab, who can read, who can understand Hindi. They can speak Hindi, but they cannot read the language. If any such student is there, can experience this kind of problem. Because second thing is, Hindi also should be good, of good standard, because if the word in Hindi is also too complex, that can also create a problem of understanding, right? So that's what. But anyway, when we decode the topic with multiple repetitions, the topic emerges in letter and spirit. We start paying attention to every single letter and spirit. So mindful, careful, conscious, okay. So a conscious and alert organization or an alert planning is the facilitator to a peaceful existence. So careful planning is a facilitator to a peaceful existence. Now this self can also be expressed from multiple perspectives. This self can be associated with an individual. If an individual is planning, like let's say someone is preparing for civil services exam. So with a conscious planning, okay, with a conscious planning, the capability of a person to have a peaceful life, peaceful preparation, not having a cognitive dissonance, not having a sense of clarity, not having a sense of confusion. Oh my God, how will I pass the exam? Oh, what if I fail the exam? Oh, this is not prepared. Oh, I prepared this thing 2 months back, I can't recall. Oh, the notes is not done. Oh, this is not careful planning. If someone knows how notes ought to be prepared, how many times revision is required, within what time period of month I will be able to complete these areas, within how many months I'll be completing these subjects, when I will be doing answer writing, when I'll be doing test series, different things, okay. So when a person is consciously planning, a person can have a peaceful sleep. Khayega bhi chain se khayega. The person will be eating and will not be like that kind of nervous. The person knows that, okay, while eating, I have to revise these things before an answer writing session or a test session. So the child is revising, but peacefully, not nervously. That, oh my God, I don't know how to do. You know that you have devoted enough time. All you need is 2 or 3 revisions once again before the test, and you are good to go. So when you are conscious, when you are well planned, when you are well organized, these problems, they do not hit you. You are relatively more composed to fight the game. Mindful manifesto. Further, with respect to this so-called word, mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. When we further reflect upon it. So mindful manifesto. When we are thinking of this possibility related to, like, let us say, an individual doing the business, not just a student preparing for civil services exam. So think about this component of individual from the perspective of maybe a farmer, a student, a business person, anyone, anything, okay, a professional, a scientist, anyone. Then you can think mindful manifesto is the catalyst to a tranquil self with respect to a family. What is the careful planning a family needs to do? So identify its resources, work on the skill development or skill upgradation of its members, making them not only upright and honest, but also committed to the goals of the family. being respectful to each other at all times, come what may, being accountable to their action. If all these values are preserved in a family, that will be an ideal family. The family will, I mean, it's unavoidable to not have conflict, but they'll know how to resolve the conflict in a more peaceful manner, in a more seasoned and matured manner. So all that. Anyway, after individual and family, we can think of it with respect to, like, let us consider a region, or like even before region, I can say an organization. In an organization, how careful planning leads to the growth and success of the organization. Similarly, for the peaceful existence of, like, let us say a region, for the peaceful existence of a country, for the peaceful existence of a world, how mindful manifesto is needed. Is that making sense? The topic which you saw when for the first time, it looked impermeable. It looked tough. It looked like, oh my God, what is this level? But when you memorize the topic, when you start, like, repeating the topic on the loop, mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. Mindful, mindful, mindful manifesto. Mindful manifesto is the catalyst to tranquil self. So when you repeat it multiple times, it blooms. And as it starts blooming, your brain becomes prepared for brainstorming. You become prepared for brainstorming. It starts happening simultaneously, immediately, in fact. Okay. Anyway, what is brainstorming? That's again a step of explanations and insights, which I would be giving you in a short while. Is everyone understanding how to go ahead with choosing the topic? And do you believe that now choosing the topic will definitely take 3 minutes? All the pieces of instruction that I gave you related to choosing the topic, it is actually going to take 3 minutes. Is that making sense to all of you? And is that making sense to all of you that if you are not following these steps, your capability to create, your capability to connect will get impacted. When you really want to create, missing out any of the step is problematic. If you get too hurried in choosing a topic, what will happen? Another topic will keep harassing you. Even I was good. You could have chosen me. These were the points. This is something you read in GS. This is what the teacher has taught. So all that chaos can happen, right? So you have to start very smartly. First, initial choosing, like you eliminate, like out of 4 options, 1 or 2 of them. And then after that, elimination by recalling what you don't know. After that, the one which is closer to your heart. After that, thinking, is there any potential bias that I have to save myself from? Any gender, religion, regional, any kind of bias, that potential that can be there in the space and sense of my example or thought process related to the topic. I have to be alert about it. And then after that, memorizing the topic. And as you memorize the topic multiple times, okay, the topic starts blooming with meaning. So will it take 3 minutes? Is 3 minutes justified, everyone? Are you understanding this? The component of 3 minutes? Is that justified? All of you? I'll be like, I know by the time you hear, it takes like almost 4 to 10 seconds of, like, let's say the communication. And then you type and then I receive. So it may take some time. So meanwhile, you can just type your responses. I can just shape one more possibility related to this. So, see this. 2020 I showed you, 2021 here. What is research but a blind date with knowledge? Right? So with respect to this, when we are talking about this one, what is research but a blind date with knowledge? Suppose you have to choose this one, memorize it. So when you memorize, I said including punctuation marks. So what is research but a blind date with knowledge? What is research but a blind date with knowledge? What is research but a blind date with knowledge? And it's not a question mark. The examiner is not asking us what is research. The examiner is like being like overwhelmed or surprised, okay, because there is an exclamation mark. Okay, so here, what is research but a blind date with knowledge? What is research? Like, wow, what a beauty. Okay, so what a beauty, eyes like Aishwarya Rai. Okay, or what a beauty, eyes like a doe, something like that. Okay, what a beauty, a walk like this Gajgamini, as you've heard that. So what a beauty when you speak of this. So what is research but a blind date with knowledge? First, second, when you start paying attention, the topic is saying what is research. So it's not asking the question what is, it is talking about the very possibility, the potential that a research holds. So research, but and then explaining the answer, giving the answer. It is a blind date with knowledge. A blind date. What is blind date? What is knowledge? What is research? I need to reflect upon this. What does one do? Okay, yeah, that's what all those students who are curious that how to balance the time, what if I take more time, or what if, like, what will I do with 40 minutes? I will give you a logical explanation, bit by bit by bit, that if you skip any of the minute in the 40 minutes, you will be goofing up the content. The 50 minutes that is allocated to writing the content, it sounds too airtight, that oh my god, in 50 minutes I have to deliver the content. You will realize the rest 40 minutes also, the bifurcation I have created is equally airtight. Every single minute has to be very well utilized. So right now you realized the logic of 3 minutes of choosing the topic. If you are not very thorough with choosing the topic and taking every diligent step, you can mess it up. Similarly, you'll realize with idea generation. In idea generation also, many of you will realize that though I've given 15 minutes, what if it takes 20 minutes? You will realize all that. And towards the end of the session, you'll realize that probably it needs rigorous practice of everything so that you start fitting into the budget of 90 minutes. But we'll take all that later. Patience is the key. When you don't aspire to understand history or geography or polity or science and technology in 1 or 2 lectures, then why essay? This is also 250 marks, whereas those subjects are of 80 marks. So why not exercise patience for this area? Why to try to understand everything in one day, one lecture, first hour? I mean, that's not possible. Patience is the key, right? So over here, when we are talking about it, what is research but a blind date with knowledge? In blind date, what do? You don't know the other person, but you know that this person can be a potential partner. If you really like the person, you'll carry forward with meeting the person more number of times and then establishing a relationship. If the relationship ripens, then you can think of a marriage. So there is a potential of, like, maybe losing the person within a meeting or two, or the potential of having a long-term, lifelong relationship. So a blind date where you don't know what is going to come before you, what possibilities are going to come before you, what kind of individual you are going to get introduced. That's what. So what is research but a blind date with knowledge? So blind date we are understanding. How can research be a blind date with knowledge? When we speak of this, we all can probably understand a basic diagram related to how research is done. Okay, so when we are doing a research, what do? First and foremost, we take up the segment from, like, let's say we have common sense, or other than common sense we can have like perspectives, perspectives which are a part of our kitty, or there can be some existing theories. So from existing theories, what we do is we deduce. What do we deduce? We deduce a hypothesis. What is hypothesis? Hypothesis is like the partner of blind date. Okay, the blind date partner. And with hypothesis, how are we deducing the hypothesis? So maybe you came across a list of candidates on an app, on a website, or maybe your parents like gave you pictures or photos of individuals and you saw, and then you deduced amongst them, okay, which one to go for a date. In the similar manner, the hypothetical statement, from common sense or various perspectives or theories that you know, you deduced a statement on which research should be done, on which further research should be carried forward, in which you find the potential of arriving at a new pattern of thought or knowledge. Okay, so hypothesis. So hypothesis, what do? So you start, like, you start collecting data, collection of data. So for testing of hypothesis, hypothesis testing is done by first collecting the data. So the partner with whom you go for a date, you meet the person and you start collecting data, choices, likes, dislikes, manners, speech, diction, like family, what kind of like human being this person comes across, how this person has behaved with his or her friends, what kind of individuals are there in his or her life, whatever. So collection of data. After collection of data, what do? So after collection of data in research, while conducting a research, so you like try to prove the data. So like we can say testing of data. Just a second. Testing of data. After testing of data, there can be two things that can happen. Either it gets disapproved. So when it becomes disapproved, you go ahead with this given possibility. When you disapprove the data, so or you disapprove of a person, you're like, no, I can't continue my date with this person, I can't see this person as a future partner, so you dissociate with the person. But if the collection of data for research, when you are doing it, if it is proved, so you continue with the research, and as you continue with the research, you arrive at a thesis. Thesis is like more like getting into a relationship with the person. As the thesis further proves itself multiple times, proved multiple times. So when thesis proves itself multiple times, okay, then what happens? You arrive at a theory. When a theory is proved universally across the place, across time, so like geospatial, all those segment, time across, so universally proved, so it becomes a law, right? When a theory is proved, what is like, so in the world of knowledge, you arrive at law, Newton's law of motion. Okay, when you're talking about gravitational law, so that is knowledge. Okay, this law is what we can consider this law as knowledge. This is pure knowledge. This is pure arriving at the pure sense of, we can say, some universal principle. Okay, so some we can say larger than life principle. The board is pretty conged off. So principle, which is, no, it's larger than life, means something which has not existed yet. That's what. So with respect to this, when we are talking about this component of knowledge, so knowledge, what is research but a blind date with knowledge? You are arriving at knowledge, but not in one go, right? So I hope all of you are understanding this bit. So this is it for today. That's why choosing the topic should take 3 minutes. So 2 minutes polishing, 2 minutes to calm down, relax and detach. The logic has been explained. Why? That time is also essential. If you don't do, what is the repercussion on the second essay? And then choosing the topic 3 minutes. So far, 7 minutes have been validated out of 40 minutes. We'll continue with this discussion tomorrow. Tomorrow will be another core area related to the segment, that is, we'll be reflecting upon the component of idea generation. So this is it for today. Thank you, all of you. So still a long way to go. I've just started breaking open the possibilities for all of you. So be patient. This is the only thing which I'll say. Keep raising questions. I'll keep responding to it, and we'll continue with this. Thanks. Have a great day.